Welcome to the second hour of the WINY Talk Show. Call 928-1350 to be heard. Telephone lines are open, so call now.
Good morning, everybody. We are now officially kicking off the political season here at WINY with the first of our many scheduled debates, a very special one to kick off and lead everything today. I am going to have the representatives that are here themselves go ahead and make introductions. I'm going to just mention very quickly that the first part of what we'll be doing in this debate is opening remarks. We'll have 2 minutes for the statements and 1 minute for rebuttal. We have a coin toss decide everything, and our Democrat happened to win the coin toss. So the coin toss. I can speak. There we go. And we're going to go ahead and have him lead off this morning. I want to say good morning to you. Please go ahead and introduce yourself and your opening remarks.
Thank you, Bill. I'm State Senator Don Williams, and I want to thank WINY for sponsoring today's debate and thank those who are listening today. When I go door to door in our communities, voters tell me they want to see leaders get things done. That's why I've worked with Democrats and Republicans to pass bipartisan jobs legislation. We created programs to help small businesses obtain financing and hire employees, and that's important because small businesses provide 60% of the jobs in Connecticut. I also helped create the Step Up program to help returning veterans find employment. Our veterans deserve assistance when they return home. As our national economy has slowly moved forward, I made sure northeastern Connecticut was not forgotten. That's why I helped Quinnebog Valley Community College expand and helped create an alternative high school program that keeps students from dropping out. We competed with the rest of the state and won the competition for a manufacturing training center, one of only 3 in the entire state. That will help create and grow jobs right here in our corner. The economic recession is a challenge, but it's also an opportunity. That's why I proposed shrinking the number of state agencies, and we cut the number of agencies by almost 30%. When our local towns came to me with an idea to save money on revaluation by coordinating services, I passed the legislation they needed, and our towns have saved hundreds of thousands of dollars. Some proposed slashing programs that allow senior citizens to remain independent in their homes. I successfully fought against that. It would have cost more money in the long run with increased nursing home expense. So there's a lot at stake in the next 2 years. I want to continue to get real results for our corner. With your help, I'll continue to make sure the quiet corner is not so quiet. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And now we're going to go ahead and turn things over to the Republican challenger and have her make her introductions and comments. 2 minutes afforded to you as well. Please begin.
Good morning, and thank you for listening. I'd be honored to be elected as your senator, working for your best interests and that of the entire state. We have 2 paths to pursue, one of respect for all citizens through policies of prosperity, or one of a growing, unsustainable government that continues to tax, spend, go deeper in debt, all with negative consequences, certainly for the young folks and generations to come who will have to shoulder the debt. The path of prosperity is found in tax relief for all, enabling most seniors to remain in their home state in dignity rather than move, enabling business to have confidence to hire, expand, and innovate, enabling us to recapture revenue that is going to neighboring states because it makes more sense to buy gas in Massachusetts and Rhode Island. Working in small and large private business, I learned the effects of government policy. And I also learned firsthand the impact of state government on local towns and families when I served on the Economic Development Commission in Thompson and as a selectman for 1 term. I spent 20 years in military service in the Air Force Reserve. I spent 5+ years as a civilian public servant in the senior executive service of the Army at the Pentagon. In July of 2001, I began to learn my role of senior oversight of Army force structure in the midst of September 11th and the trying following months. I had to learn, lead, and execute my responsibilities in the aftermath of the terrorist attacks. I am not daunted by interrupting the status quo in Hartford and beginning a rational and strategic plan of economic recovery and prosperity. The grassroots of the towns of Thompson, Putnam, Killingly, Brooklyn, Canterbury, Scotland, and Wyndham, have a vital opportunity to begin to turn the course of our state to positive policies so that we can thrive as a proud state. I've been endorsed by the Independent Party and the Republican Party. I have the support of Democrats, unaffiliated, and Republicans. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Both not quite using the full 2 minutes today, and thank you very much for the opening remarks. Let's proceed right to our questions, again with the toss of the coin going to Senator Williams. And question number one, this will be for your 2-minute statement, and then, of course, Ms. White, you're going to be having the 1-minute rebuttal in this particular round. Question number one being, what events in your life have shaped your political philosophy?
That's a great question. You know, I think growing up in a middle-class family, when my parents started out, they lived in a one-room apartment and built a family from that. And we grew up with the values of hard work and the middle class as a backbone of the United States. I learned how important it was to have good schools. You know, keeping the doors of opportunity open to families, to children growing up, so that we have a vibrant middle class is very important to me. I saw how important that was firsthand growing up. And, you know, when I was news director here at WINY, covering, you know, every kind of story you can possibly imagine, there again, I saw how important community is and how important it is for folks to come together and to work hard to improve their community. We're not islands. It's not every man and woman for himself or herself. And you know, in northeastern Connecticut, there's a great tradition of that. I saw that when I was news director here at the station, when it was a time of need, when folks needed to step up, people did, and they continue to do that in so many ways. So that informs what I do as state senator, and I'm honored to represent this community, folks who work hard, folks who do come together, who know it's not every person for themselves, but it's folks working hard to improve their communities. So when it comes to supporting our towns, not slashing municipal aid that would drive up property taxes, not slashing our schools that would hurt education and close the doors of opportunity to our young people, not slashing the safety net for senior citizens and the services they depend on, I know those are fundamental values that the people in northeastern Connecticut believe in.
Okay, thank you very much. And now we're going to go to our Republican challenger. And I just want to make mention really quick. Please state your name, because you did not do that in the initial part of our opening statements.
Well, you had mentioned my name, so I thought that was sufficient. But I am Sally White, officially known as Sarah White, and I live in East Thompson on our old family farm where I grew up. And obviously the lessons of farm life have a lot to apply all through life in any type of vocation or activity you're involved in. And one of them I've noticed recently, because I see that many of our seniors are leaving because they can't afford to live in the state. They're not leaving for the weather necessarily, and our new graduates are leaving. They're voting with their feet because it's unaffordable to live here presently. And, you know, I notice with my animals that I feed and take care of daily that they don't run away from me when I go out in the field. They look to me, and I'm thinking of many of our citizens are running away from our state. So that's a big clue that the policies are not working. 35 plus years ago, I worked at the Shopper's Guide doing ad layout and was able to witness the vicissitudes of doing business in the local area, the businesses that would thrive, the businesses that would fail. My family ran a shoe store for 20 years locally. And we grew up at a time where we thought we were well off, but according to government statistics, we were actually poor. But we knew that we could achieve whatever we wanted to do with hard work. And I think that nothing works as well as equal economic opportunity for all through logical and merciful tax relief. And that's what I want to ensure, that everyone throughout the state has the opportunity to achieve. Right now, we have an imbalance of power in Hartford, and that in turn interrupts the economic opportunity that there is in the state. And I think that when Hartford is big, all the citizens become small. And we want to assure that everyone has the opportunity to thrive. Driving in this morning, I noticed there were a number of cars with Florida plates. And I know that a lot of people are homesteading in Florida because their pensions won't be taxed and the electrical rates are much less expensive there.
Thank you very much. We're going to go on to our second question. And second question is going to be the lead from Republican Sally White, who will have the 2 minutes.
Just check on format. Is there a 1 minute rebuttal after the question?
1 minute rebuttals right after the questions.
Okay, just want to double check on that.
No problem at all.
Yep.
I'm glad you asked the question. Let's go ahead and start with question number 2, which is yours. Ms. White, first of all, what is your opinion of the state of Connecticut's fiscal health?
Well, considering that we're in massive debt and we have amongst the lowest bond ratings in the nation, it's not good. The bond rating, of course, reflects our financial health. That, in turn, has consequences in terms of an increase in taxes. Last year, there was an increase of 77 new and expanded taxes, including in the sales tax. So right now, we have the lotteries, we have the casino, we have the sales tax, we have the income tax, and we still have deficits each year, and we continue to have increasing taxes. So I would say that the financial situation is not very healthy at the moment, and that's not going to turn around until we grant tax relief and we copy, or shall I say, imitate some of the best practices of other states, and also return to some of those best practices of our own state when we were thriving.
Okay, and is that concluding your comments?
Well, let me say this. I noticed that the Putnam Bank is advertising reverse mortgages because the cost of living is so high in Connecticut. And that's a shame. It's a tragedy when the young folks and the older folks are having to resort to mortgages or having to resort to moving from the state in order to maintain financial independence.
Okay, and is that in conclusion?
Yes.
I would say yes. Okay, and now to Senator Williams, your response?
Well, nobody's thinking that we've got a rip-roaring recovery going on here. I mean, 4 years ago, the national economy went off the cliff, in large part because of the policies of granting huge tax breaks to wealthy individuals and not paying for things like 2 wars, et cetera. And so nationally, we had the largest economic downturn in our lifetime, the biggest hit to our economy since the Great Depression. And so it takes a long time to dig out of that. 3 years ago, the state of Connecticut had an $8 billion deficit, and a Republican governor did not even acknowledge $2 billion of that. A year ago, we had a $3.3 billion deficit. Now we brought the budget into balance. It hasn't been easy. We've had to make huge cuts in spending, and we've also had some tax increases, but on those who are the wealthiest in our state. 2/3 of those in Connecticut do not pay increased income taxes.
Thank you very much. We're going to go on to our third question at this point. And Senator Williams.
Where's the rebuttal?
Yes. That was the rebuttal that you, right there. That was Senator Williams who did rebuttal there, the 1 minute for the question number 2. Okay, so we're good?
Sally, I was a little confused about that, too. I thought that each of us got 2 minutes and there would be a 1 minute rebuttal, but maybe I'm wrong on that.
No, that's exactly our format, and that's what we're following.
Okay, well, then actually that's not what's happened so far, right?
Right.
Yeah.
We're going to go ahead and just take a break, and we will let you know more about what's going on the WINY Talk Show right after these messages.
Hi, this is Gary L. I'm out of the office right now. Please leave a message, and I'll get right back to you.
Hey Gary, Jerry Cargill Chevrolet. Got a whole bunch of stuff for you today. Big shipment of HHRs. We've been talking about them. We've got 20 of them in stock, starting at $8,900 or $159 a month. We've also got 10 2009 Nissan Altimas, starting at $14,990 or $229 a month. Great value, nice cars. And our Impalas, 2011s, 2012s, starting at $14,990. We've got 20 of them in stock, $229 a month. Great deals. On the new side, Silverados. You can save up to $10,000 or 0% for up to 60 months. And let me give you a couple of great deals we got to throw out there. 2012 Cruise Eco, MSRP $21,150. Buy it today for $19,943. Or how about a 2012 Chevy Sonic LTZ 5-door hatchback, supercar leather equipped, $18,355 on the sticker, $16,990 today. And we got to keep talking about our total value package, car washes for life, our auto butler, and we're delivering up to 500 miles away. So I'll talk to you soon.
See them online at cargillchev.com.
Hi, this is Eric Quinn from Girardi Insurance Services. If you're like most people, things have changed since the last time you gave serious thought to your life insurance. Maybe there have been some changes in your life, like a marriage, a second home, college bills, another child, or an elderly relative suddenly dependent on you. Girardi Insurance Services has been here since 1917 to help identify these needs. We'd like the opportunity to work with you to ensure that you have adequate life insurance. So please give us a call at 928-7771 or get instant quotes at girardionline.com.
My sister's husband died, and now she's struggling to make ends meet. Sometimes I wonder what would happen to my family if we suddenly lost my husband. I know he would never want to put us through that stress, so I called Girardi Insurance. Girardi Insurance works with over 30 life insurance companies to get you the best price. For a free quote, go to girardionline.com or call 860-928-7771. It's not just your life, it's your loved ones too. Call today.
Busquets Appliance presents their huge tailgate party this Friday and Saturday. If you're ready for a new and bigger TV for your football parties, don't miss the lowest prices of the year on every TV at Busquets Appliance Tailgate Party. 60-inch LG TVs are on sale for $9.99. 50-inch LGs are just $5.99. Jeff has the 32-inch Super Slim LED TVs on sale for $3.49. Buy any 42-inch or larger TV, and Jeff will give you a free Blu-ray DVD player. All appliances will be sold at cost this Friday and Saturday too. Brand new Amana top-load washers are on sale for $2.95. Hotpoint over-the-range microwaves are just $1.75. Frigidaire 18 cubic foot refrigerators are marked down to $450 during the 2-day tailgate party this Friday and Saturday at Busquets Appliance. There will be free hot dogs and cold drinks both days. Take a shot at throwing the football through the tire and win a free Blu-ray DVD player. Don't miss the tailgate party this Friday and Saturday at Busquets Appliance, 16 Furnace Street, downtown Danielson.
Forecast for northeastern Connecticut, considerable cloudiness today with occasional showers and a few afternoon thunderstorms, 75. Showers, thunderstorms ending tonight, 55, and mostly sunny tomorrow, 65 to 70. Mix of clouds and sun on Friday, 65. And the weekend, considerable cloudiness with occasional rain and showers both Saturday and Sunday near 65. This is WINY meteorologist Bill Jacquemin.
At Broadcast House, overcast skies and 68 degrees. WINY. We're back with the WINY debates. We have, of course, in-house Senator Don Williams and challenger Republican Sally White. We are in debate format mode, so we're going to go ahead on to question number 3, and this is going to be led by Senator Williams, and this will be for your 2 minutes, and then 2-minute rebuttal will come from the Republican Sally White, and then we'll go ahead with the 1-minute rebuttals each way. Here we go. What can be done to bring well-paying employment into this part of the state?
That's a great question, and you know, what I'm really pleased about is that a lot of folks in this area have been working on this issue, especially given the economic downturn. I mentioned earlier that there were only three manufacturing training centers for the entire state to help with our existing manufacturing companies. You know, there are jobs that are going begging right now that employers cannot fill because they require specialized skills. And so to have this manufacturing training center to support our traditional manufacturers and precision manufacturing companies will be tremendous. QVCC put in a great application for that. I fought very hard for them, as did our other local state representatives, and they won that. And you know, I was told we weren't supposed to win in northeastern Connecticut. That was going to go to somewhere along the 91-95 corridor, but that's going to help. I've pushed for a vastly renovated Ellis Tech. That's going to help. I think all of our high school students deserve access and opportunity to technical skills. In addition, you know, I was able to help lead a bipartisan legislative session where we passed landmark jobs legislation, the Step Up program, the Business Express program, the Main Street initiative that the town of Danielson has already applied for. These are initiatives that help small to medium-sized businesses grow, improve by getting new machinery, getting up to date, hiring new folks. You know, we're in a great location here in northeastern Connecticut with our proximity to Worcester, to Providence, to Boston, the deep port in New London, Hartford, and markets throughout New England. We have transportation infrastructure with 395 and the Providence and Worcester Railroad. There's no reason why, working together, we can't take advantage of the recovery that will come. It's going to be slow, but the recovery that will come in the coming months and years.
Thank you very much. And now, Ms. White.
Yes, this is Sally White. And I doubt the UConn economist who's studied the reality of Connecticut and found that economic recovery will take a long time to begin, and it will be modest at best, at least under the current policy, would think that the People's Express program is the key to stir our economy. It's a program that takes hard-earned income from one group of residents and gives it selectively to another. Barron's recently put out a report that puts us at the bottom of the list in terms of being an attractive business state, essentially saying that it's a poorly governed state. In terms of Windham County, we have the lowest income of the 8 counties in the state. Now, that wouldn't necessarily be so bad if it were higher income. It's okay to be last if it's still a respectable position, but it doesn't have to be that low. It's unnecessary. The conundrum we're in here is companies require skills, and there are companies that do have job openings. But the fact is that folks aren't going to move to this state unless we have attractive tax policies. Right now, we're not attracting workers, we're not attracting business. So we're doing superficial fixes in the meantime that are not getting to the root of the problem. And in terms of the national economy, we can't blame that, because a well-run state should be positioning itself to weather any type of economic situation. And it's not a top-down thing. It's the states that fuel the national economy. If Connecticut had good tax policies and had reasonable regulations, then we would be fueling the economic prosperity of the nation and of our own state. So we can't use that as we had the largest tax increase in history last year, 77 new taxes. So to say we had the largest cut in spending, you have to also keep in mind the largest tax increase.
Thank you. We're going on to question 4.
I think it's rebuttal time.
Oh, wait a second. That is true. It is rebuttal time, and I do apologize. We've got our 1-minute rebuttal. First of all, to start with Senator Williams, and go.
You know, thank you. My opponent said that we've lost population, and actually that was true 10 years ago when we did lose population. The census as of last year shows that Connecticut actually gained population. So that's point number 1. In terms of the Business Express program, the step-up program for veterans finding employment, you know, my philosophy, I think, differs from my opponents. I believe that we are entitled to our fair share, that Northeastern Connecticut deserves resources to help people get the education that they need and deserve, and can get the opportunities in the future. Local businesses here in Northeastern Connecticut have been assisted by these programs. We have created or preserved more than 3,300 jobs across the state in programs that only got started just this year. So it is important that Democrats and Republicans work together and that we fight for our fair share in Northeastern Connecticut.
Thank you very much. And Republican White?
For my 1-minute rebuttal,
Yes.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking with local businesses, they tell me that they are in what you would call a protective crouch, that they don't dare hire. Some of them have cash to hire, but they don't dare because they're waiting for the next shoe to fall. It's very expensive to hire people. There are at least 15 different costs and taxes associated with that. And right now there's a special assessment on their unemployment tax because that goes towards paying the debt that the state owes to the federal government. And I believe that when the state takes more and more of the people's income and regulates more and more of their lives, we wither in wealth and spirit. If we take less and meddle less with business and people, we're going to prosper, and everybody's going to be able to pursue happiness.
Thank you very much. We're going on now to question 4 officially. Again, 2 minutes for this, and we're going to start, of course, with Republican challenger White. Describe one law that you would push for, if elected, that is not currently enacted.
Not currently enacted.
Yes.
Well, you've got me somewhat stumped there. It would my sense would be a law that would undo some. Off the top of my head, I cannot think of another law. We have a zillion of them already that are burdening and slowing prosperity and actually taking the vitality out of our lives. I think where we might be prospering is in the number of bills and regulations that we have passed that actually inhibit our economic opportunity and freedom.
Okay, and with that, we'll go ahead and give the 2 minutes to Senator Williams.
You know, I would like to see us expand on the Money Follows the Person program for senior citizens. This is an area where if we were able to provide the resources that otherwise would go to nursing homes, help seniors remain independent, they could not only have an improved quality of life, but we could also save money in the long term for the state of Connecticut. We have made some progress in terms of improving the lives of our seniors. We passed recently the Medicare Savings Program, which expands access to Medicaid benefits for seniors, approximately 30,000 seniors across the state, many right here in northeastern Connecticut. That provides lower prescription drug copays, lower deductibles, and coverage of the Medicare Part D donut hole for Connecticut's seniors. And the savings for seniors on average, it amounts to $1,200 per year. So my philosophy is by investing in these types of benefits for senior citizens and expanding Money Follows the Person, we can not only improve the quality of life for seniors, but we can actually save money in the long run by cutting back on nursing home costs. So that's just one example of how we can work together, Democrats and Republicans, not have gridlock, not say that government is always the enemy, but that state government can and should be a catalyst to improve quality of life and find long-term savings.
Okay, and with that, we have our 1-minute rebuttal, again to Republican White.
This is Sally White again. And again, it's like there you go again, Don. 20 years in the state Senate, 7 years as the leader of the Senate, and you have more programs rather than giving genuine tax relief to the people so that they can make their own decisions, so they'll have the confidence to spend, so they have wiggle room to save and relax and not be under the relentless pressure. And when I talk to people and to business, they look me in the eye and they say, stop the spending. 2 years ago, we released nearly $10 billion in grants, much of it discretionary, some not discretionary. Yet both people and business need confidence. We need to be looking at what the other states are doing that are attracting people and keeping their people, and what have we done in the past that has kept our people and attracted others. But 20 years when we're probably over $40 billion in debt and we continue to have increasing taxes.
We have to stop there. Thank you, and we're going to turn it over to Senator excuse me, Senator Williams, go ahead.
You know, I understand this is a philosophical difference between the two of us, and but I would fight for the fair share for seniors. I would fight for improved quality of life, and I would fight for the fair share for Connecticut. You know, I know that my opponent, when she was on the Board of Selectmen, voted against accepting some help from the federal government, again getting back some of our fair share to help buy highway equipment in the town of Thompson. Now, the alternative is to see property taxes go up. So while my opponent talks about holding down taxes, a lot of the positions, when you boil this philosophy down, results in higher property taxes passing the buck onto our towns and onto local homeowners. I think that's wrong. I think northeastern Connecticut deserves its fair share. Yes, we want to make sure that our seniors have quality of life. Yes, we want a balanced budget, but I don't think it's fair to leave northeastern Connecticut behind and have it be the forgotten corner.
And that concludes question 4. Moving on, our next question, and this one will be going to Senator Williams. To start, called a quote, generation without job creation, following a study last month by the Connecticut Center for Economic Analysis. This report claims the state may still be in a recession. With that in mind, do you think one fix to this issue would be to use a portion of the stranded business tax credits? And if not, what are some ways we can increase the number of projected new jobs slated not to exceed 5,000 over the next 18 months?
That's a great question, and yes, I think that we ought to look at some of the stranded tax credits. I mean, for example, a local example right here is for a very small investment with tax credits, we were able to help Frito-Lay expand, add hundreds of thousands of square feet to its footprint, and ensure that 600 jobs here in northeastern Connecticut are safe and that Frito-Lay is poised to grow in the future. So there may be some, and my opponent may fall into this category, who would say, you know, we should do nothing in terms of encouraging economic development other than just tax cut, tax cut, tax cut that increases the state deficit. But no other state takes that approach. No other country takes that approach. Every other country and state that's involved in growing its economy knows that they have to be catalysts. They have to work together. They have to help spur development. And those stranded tax credits that you're talking about can help us do that and provide tax credits that increase and preserve jobs, just like this local example at Frito-Lay.
Okay, and the rest of the time, I believe you're going to surrender. You have a little bit more time if you wish. Okay.
All set.
All right, very good. So we're going to take the next 2 minutes and send it over to Republican White.
That goes back to the business confidence situation that we're in, where some businesses are closing, some businesses are moving, some businesses are simply staying as still as they can, hoping that they're not going to be taxed and regulated even more. Now, the situation with Frito-Lay essentially amounts to a bailout of a large company that's owned by PepsiCo. Now, so we've poured a lot of money into Frito-Lay, which means you're taking it out of one hand and giving it selectively to another. I'm not quite sure, as a candidate, I don't have all of the details on these things, but yet it amounts to a bailout using our tax money. What other companies are there of a similar size or smaller size that may need help but aren't going to go to the government? They're going to weather it themselves, or they're going to fail. And sometimes businesses need to fail. We can't sustain everything. And in terms of our government deficit, we have significant debt. We have debt that has to do with unfunded accounts for our public employees. Part of a government's role is to ensure contracts and promises. And right now we are underfunded in the state retiree health benefits, where they're using these funds to actually put into the general fund for our daily operating expenses. Not good accounting, not good bookkeeping, not good money management. There is very irresponsible money management going on in the state right now, and it's going to come back to hurt us with negative consequences and increased taxes.
We're ready for rebuttal. We go to 1 minute format with Senator Williams.
You know, the state, as I said before, has faced extremely tough fiscal times over the last 4 years, but I'm glad to report that we don't have the $8 billion deficit that Governor Rell ignored 3 years ago. We don't have the $3 billion deficit that the state faced 1 year ago. We're on track to have a balanced budget. So we have made great progress, and in many respects, we're ahead of many other states. But here again, my opponent and I have a fundamental difference when it comes to jobs. I think that we ought to be fighting, just like every other state that's serious about its economy, every other country, fighting to be a catalyst to grow jobs. Those state tax credits made up only a tiny percentage of the investment that Frito-Lay was making in their plant. So to turn our back on 600 jobs here in northeastern Connecticut and watch them go elsewhere would have been the wrong thing to do. I'll continue to fight for jobs in northeastern Connecticut.
And Ms. White, your rebuttal?
Yes, in terms of, there are many states in the nation that are doing better than we are because they have adopted better tax policies. 21 years ago, we didn't have an income tax, and we were in better shape overall than now. That was supposed to be a temporary tax, but through fiscal irresponsibility, we continue to have that tax. I think that it would be prudent to begin a long-term strategic plan of gradually reducing and eventually eliminating the income tax. Those states that don't have an income tax obviously are attracting people. Now, at Frito-Lay, how do we know whether or not PepsiCo would have stepped in and actually been responsible for their own company? How many people that work at Frito-Lay actually live in Rhode Island and Massachusetts or Connecticut? But again, we have to realize that we need to ensure fresh checks and balances in Hartford by voting for new candidates. We cannot continue in this tax and spend atmosphere.
Thank you. We're going on to our next question. And this is the question. There were several new laws that came into law this past legislative session, one of which now allows liquor stores to open on Saturdays and on certain holidays. Do you feel this was a positive move for Connecticut? This question first for the 2 minutes with Ms. White.
Thank you. I have visited with some of the local liquor stores, and what's interesting is that they tell me that they don't have any more business. What has happened is that they have less business on Saturdays and about the equal amount on Sundays. But it ends up being an overhead burden in terms of their utilities and their employees, and they don't get a day of rest. Now, this may be a bonus to some of the larger discount companies, but again, we're harming our local citizens who are running small businesses, who are able to maintain independence and who are able to work on a familiar basis with our local people. And that's a shame when we have policies, again, because it's an unequal policy. Unfortunately, many of the taxation policies, many of the policies promoted by the imbalance of power in Hartford promote special interest policies. Our state constitution says that those that are elected to office are supposed to be working for the best interests of the general welfare of the entire state. When we start catering to special interests, then it puts everything out of balance and no one thrives. If we do everything that is for equal opportunity for each of our citizens, then we will prosper.
Okay, and with that, we're going with 2 minutes and Senator Williams.
Thank you. Well, you know, Sunday sales, Connecticut was only one of 2 states left in the entire country that regulated Sunday sales and actually had a law that said you can't open on Sunday. And so here's a surprising case where my opponent, who I would think would be against that kind of regulation, is actually in favor of it, even when Connecticut makes the 49th state to get rid of that regulation. Now, the package store owners that I talked with initially were against Sunday sales, but there was a whole raft of proposals that came before the legislature this past session, and I listened very carefully to the package store owners, and there were many changes that would have affected wholesale pricing and how these package store owners run their business, increase the number of licenses that folks could hold, and we fought back against all those other changes because we believe that small businesses deserve a fair shake. And when all was said and done, at the end of it all, even though some of the package store owners still were not crazy about the idea of Sunday sales, they agreed that if we did open up on Sunday, but we didn't have this upheaval with a change in all the other kind of oversight of small package stores, that they would agree with that. So, you know, it basically brings us in line with every other state in the nation except Indiana. I think that going forward, what we really need to do is to work on helping small businesses of all kinds, not just package stores, but every small business have the kind of access to capital that it needs, have the access to the type of incentives to hire employees that other states provide, that other countries provide, so that we see continued job growth here in northeastern Connecticut.
Thank you. For rebuttal, we start with Republican White.
Well, we're the only state that's, I believe, the only state that still has a gift tax. We still have a significant death tax, and many people move to avoid those so that they can pass on their hard-earned wealth to their children and to the succeeding generations, which means we're going to lose property taxes, we're going to lose income taxes, and the list goes on and on. Because of the policies of the state, people have to think strategically, and they have to assess what is going to help them to maintain their financial independence. And that often means moving, it often means not purchasing as much as they want, and it certainly isn't attracting new residents or new business. And I'd also like to mention, but it looks like, all right, my time is running out. But again, we have the worst business ranking in the nation. So obviously the policies of the state are not working, and we need to change them.
Thank you very much. We're going to go with more questions right after these messages on the WINY Talk Show for your Wednesday.
Discover Metulitis Rehabilitation and Skilled Care in Putnam.
Hi, I'm Holly Doucette, CNA. I've been here at Metulitis for 17 years.
Hi, I'm Dan Gagny, Building Supervisor here at Metulitis for 26 years.
Hi, I'm Pam Bartolome. I'm the Food Service Supervisor, and I've been at Metulitis for 15 years.
Hi, I'm Pam Baylor-Kynes. I'm the Director of Nursing Services, and I've been at Metulitis for 14 years.
Hi, I'm Susan Converse. I'm an LPN. I've been at Metulitis for 18 years.
Hi, I'm Angela Johnjo, social worker, and I've been at Metulitis for over 11 years.
Metulitis Rehabilitation and Skilled Care is a state-of-the-art healthcare facility with 119 beds and a newly built rehab wing with 28 private short-term rooms. Call 860-928-7976 to schedule a visit and discover who we are.
We are Metulitis.
10 Thurber Road in Putnam and online at metulitisnh.org. The care you choose makes all the difference.
Lease payments at 10,000 miles per year, 36 months, $34.99 down, 0% for qualified buyers. All rebates to dealer. First and security deposit due at signing, tax registration, and dock fees extra.
Hi, this is Denny Gates.
And Craig Gates.
Gates gets what you want. Putnam Chrysler Dodge Jeep is holding the Jeep Celebration event. 2012 Jeep Compass Sport 4x4. Purchase today for only $20,990. 2012 Chrysler 200 Touring, alloy wheels and moonroof. Purchase today for only $20,990. Check out our huge selection of truck inventory during our Ram Power Days sale. 2012 Ram 1500 SLT 4-wheel drive crew cab. Save up to $7,000 off MSRP. Plus, they all come with a 5-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty. And remember, we take anything in trade. Goats, boats, trains, and planes, you name it, we trade it. Only at Putnam Chrysler Dodge Jeep, Putnam, Connecticut, USA. Ring us at 860-963-2277 or online at putnamchrysler.com.
Planning a funeral is one of life's most difficult challenges. Yet virtually every culture recognizes the importance of commemorating the life and loss of a loved one with a meaningful ceremony. Hello, this is Bob Fournier, owner and funeral director of the Gilman Funeral Home in Putnam and the Vallard Funeral Home in North Grosvenor-Dale. Funerals don't just signify a life that has ended. They signify that a life was lived and loved. Funerals offer survivors the opportunity to mourn their loss amongst family and friends and to begin the healing process. But what kind of funeral service should you choose? Since no two people are alike, no two funerals should be alike. At the Gilman and Vallard Funeral Homes, we understand the importance of personalizing a funeral. We'll guide you step by step and help you create a meaningful event that celebrates your loved one's unique life and helps the bereaved cope with their loss. Planning a funeral is one of life's most difficult challenges. Let us, the staff at Gilman and Vallard Funeral Homes, be your personal guide.
And now your most accurate local forecast brought to you by the Savings Institute.
Forecast for northeastern Connecticut, considerable cloudiness today with occasional showers and a few afternoon thunderstorms, 75. Showers, thunderstorms ending tonight, 55, and mostly sunny tomorrow, 65 to 70. Mix of clouds and sun on Friday, 65. And the weekend, considerable cloudiness with occasional rain and showers both Saturday and Sunday near 65. This is WINY meteorologist Bill Jackwoman.
At Broadcast House, overcast skies and 68 degrees.
Hello, I'm Savings Institute Bank and Trust.
And I'm Other Banks.
Hey, Other Banks, you heard about our new mobile banking app?
Mobile banking app schmap. That's old news, Savings Institute. A lot of banks have mobile banking.
Yeah, but ours is very, very smart.
Oh, really? What makes it so smart?
Well, the smartphone offer really helps. To sign up for SI Mobile Banking or to take advantage of our brand new Android or BlackBerry smartphone offer, free with a new 2-year contract plus data feature, visit savingsinstitute.com today. Feel good, bank smart with SI Mobile and our new free smartphone offer.
Free phone offer valid with activation of a qualifying 2-year service plan with selected wireless provider. Offer subject to credit approval and eligibility check. Limited time offer subject to change. Additional restrictions apply. Visit savingsinstitute.com for full terms and conditions.
Oh, and another thing, free guides to the last Green Valley's Walktober walk, bike ride, and paddle events. Pick yours up now at Savings Institutes everywhere.
Community Radio, WINY.
Senator Don Williams is owed a minute rebuttal. We're going to go ahead right now and give you the rebuttal to our question that is still in play.
Thank you, Bill. You know, my opponent was talking quite a bit about taxes there and talking about the income tax increase. But again, I want to stress the fact here. The fact here is that we had to make tough choices as to whether there would be dramatic cuts over and above the $3 billion that we cut from the state budget. And we balanced that with an income tax increase on higher income earners. So about 2/3 of the people of Connecticut and a lot of folks in northeastern Connecticut will not be paying higher income taxes, 2/3. But I think that raises the question, where would my opponent cut? You know, my opponent said earlier that she'd like to get rid of the income tax altogether. Terrific. But what services for seniors? What critical funding for our schools, for our municipalities? How much would that increase local property taxes? And how would we see those go through the roof? If my opponent is going to make these claims, I think that she should level with the people and tell them where those cuts would be.
Thank you very much. And we're moving on to our final question in this series. Connecticut has been looking to bioscience as one significant component towards getting the economy on track. Do you think the focus should be shifted elsewhere? This is the 2-minute question to start with Senator Williams.
Thank you. It's absolutely one of the areas that we should focus on. You know, our niche in the future is not going to be sort of the entry line manufacturing. We saw those jobs first go south, and then southern states saw those jobs go overseas. It's going to be in higher tech, and bioscience is a perfect example. We have already some building blocks that have been in place with the pharmaceutical industry and with Pfizer in Connecticut. Now with Jackson Labs coming in, that's going to help tremendously. You know, Massachusetts has invested $1 billion in bioscience, and there's no reason why Connecticut can't be part of a research and development corridor that runs through Massachusetts, Connecticut, into New York, and everything that's going on in the New York, New Jersey area. This is one area where we can absolutely stand out, but that's not the only area. Manufacturing is absolutely still a priority for us, and precision manufacturing is where we can be a leader. That's why my fighting so hard to get that manufacturing training center at QVCC was very important. You know, we've got over 600 companies in Connecticut that help manufacture medical devices. We can build on that. We've got so many companies that are involved with aerospace and aircraft, not just Pratt & Whitney and Sikorsky, but all the different machine shops and precision manufacturing shops, some of which are here in northeastern Connecticut, that assist and contract with these larger companies. So we have a lot to work on, a lot to push for, and it's only going to happen if we step up and be catalysts, not walk away and say there's nothing we can do.
And 2 minutes now to Ms. White.
All right, so the subject is bioscience, but at what cost and with what higher taxes? This is coming in because it's being propped up by our government. They're taking our hard-earned income rather than giving us tax relief so that we can make our own market-based decisions. Now, the Jackson Labs, that was turned down by 2 other states as not being a viable business prospect. So that may well not be in our best interest. And I would like to say that the Enterprise Corridor, the Express program, and I think there's something called the 5 Best whatever, where they're giving money to very large companies. If you did a quantitative analysis of that, what is the return on profit that Connecticut is actually deriving from that? Or is the return simply in increased taxes? A couple days ago, I bought my usual gas in Webster, and I found it to be a terrific place to campaign because it was virtually all Connecticut cars there. I was able to purchase gas for $3.75 cash. And folks were very happy to see me. I don't recommend that you go there, Don, into Massachusetts when you buy gas. But I'm taking a stand for those who have had enough. They aren't being represented in our state Senate with logical policies that translate into their ability to purchase gas more freely, to remain in their Connecticut homes, to obtain employment in Connecticut, to let their businesses thrive, and actually, even for the business owners, to actually keep enough profit to earn their own living wage. People say enough is enough. They tell me, stop the spending, give us relief, no more gimmicky programs. Let's just return to sound policies of prosperity and turn our state around so that we are helping to fuel our own economy and that of the nation. We've had 20 years of the same thing over again. If the policies were working, wouldn't we be in better condition? Would we be billions and billions in debt? Would we have 77 new taxes? I think not.
Okay, for the rebuttal, 1 minute goes to Senator Wood.
You know, first of all, my opponent's not correct about Jackson Labs. When we won that location and they came to Connecticut where they're going to create over 800 jobs, direct jobs, and over 6,000 direct and indirect jobs, there were articles in the state of Florida saying, how did we lose Jackson Labs? And a lot of hand-wringing down there. But, you know, again, my opponent talks about how we should be cutting and getting rid of this tax or that tax. That's fine. But my opponent needs to level with the people of northeastern Connecticut. Where would the cuts be made? What services for seniors would be cut? How deeply would the cuts to our schools go? How much would our towns have to jack up property taxes? You know, the voters deserve specifics. We made tough decisions in the last 2 years, and it's put the state of Connecticut in the right direction. Others may have great theories, but let's hear the specifics.
Thank you. We're going to the 1 minute rebuttal to Ms. White.
Not once have I mentioned cuts. I have mentioned tax relief. Folks are being deceived if you think that necessary services have to be cut. With a lowering of strategically lowering taxes, we will increase revenues substantially. Also, in terms of efficient running of our agencies and departments, and talking with state troopers, state social workers, other state workers, other legislators, I am told that the waste and the fraud and the abuse is huge. If we simply exercise sound management of our resources, and if we allow revenues to grow, and if we enact policies that will attract business and people to work in the state to fill those manufacturing jobs that we would like to have filled, then we will prosper. We cannot continue the tax and spend and the policies that are simply programs of gimmicks and are not genuine job growth policies.
And on that note, we're going to go ahead and end this particular debate, the first one of our series here on WINY. A special thanks to both of you for being candid with us and for answering our questions.